What is up, little banana chips? Welcome to Arsenio's High School CD booklet review. I am in quick drag today. Didn't have time to do my makeup, but I got my man Nate Garrett here from Adrift, and we're going to be talking about Megadeth's greatest hits, because this is the Megadeth album I had when I was in high school. This is the way I got into them. Nate, you should start us off. How did you get into Megadeth? What's your history with them?
I got into them in high school as well. I was either 14 or 15, somewhere around there. And I picked up Peace Cells and Rust in Peace on CD at the mall. And I also got Food Poisoning the same night at the mall. So I listened to both of those CDs on repeat while I was just like expelling bodily fluids for
You can say diarrhea on this show.
yeah,
This
everything,
is
everything for 12 hours.
No.
But it's cool, man. And like, I think it would have been worse if I didn't have those songs to listen to all night long. Maybe it would have been better.
Dude, when I'm like sick and if I get sick while I'm participating in like a piece of media, if I'm like watching a movie, if I like watch a movie when I'm sick and like it's a moment of like real sickness, it takes me a long time to like get back into it. You know what I'm saying? Like it just reminds me of the time that I feel like I can't watch like When Harry Met Sally for a little while because I was like, it reminds me of vomiting, you know?
Man, it's funny you say that. I had salmonella poisoning last week, and I watched First Blood, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And
Totally.
I really hope it doesn't happen with that movie. I think it's too good. I don't think you ever care about that.
Yeah, it's too poignant.
Yeah.
It's a riveting piece of true American cinema.
Yeah.
But I think like this was the first Megadeth album that I bought because I like no one my age, like I grew up in an age when like thrash metal was out. The like no one was touching it except for the band. I'm from Colorado, and the band Havoc has always been Havoc. Like since we were all 15 years old, there would be a bunch of like emo pop punk bands at Battle of the Bands, and then Havoc would be up there playing thrash metal, sounding like Metallica, and they didn't give a shit. But nobody else at that time, not even Municipal Waste they hadn't even started yet. It was pretty insane. So I had no one guiding me to Megadeth. I first hear about Megadeth for the first time in Wayne's World 2, just as the side joke. And you know, I eventually I picked this up after I'm already getting into Cannibal Corpse and stuff. So this was a weird first introduction. Are you like, first let's get into greatest hits. Like were you a guy growing up who, if you like saw greatest hits in like someone's collection, were they just like immediately a poser?
Nah, I didn't even really know at first what albums were.
Yeah.
I didn't know the difference between like an album and a bootleg. Like the first real band I got like super into was Black Sabbath, and I was getting like all kinds of weird shit, like that Children of the Grave compilation with the little baby doll on the front.
Yeah.
All kinds of like unofficial weird bootlegs. So it took me a while to even figure out the difference between a compilation and that sort of thing. I didn't really have like a cool older guy or like an older sibling
Same.
or anything to help me. I did really like live albums, oddly enough. Like I remember getting Past Lives by Black Sabbath and loving it, and like the Pantera live album. And then I was trying to think of any other Megadeth albums that I owned back then. I own a bunch on vinyl now,
Yeah.
pretty much like the first 4 or whatever. But I had the live album Rude Awakening that covers like a dude in bed falling off a skyscraper.
Yeah.
And so I almost sort of looked at live albums like a greatest hits, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Is it hard to take me seriously because I look like I'm in a
Never, dude.
crime?
I know the man that's under that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm robbing a bodega, but we're having the conversations we always have, which is deep dives into like Megadeth lore, which we love. Like we are famous. We famously are both dudes who like think that there's more Dave Mustaine in Metallica than people really know, than people think.
Yeah, the older I get, and I don't know, the more that everybody involved in the first wave of thrash metal starts to kind of open up about stuff. I feel like he invented it. He just
Yeah,
invented thrash.
he's the Godfather. He
Yeah,
like like everything that we like about it is it's all from his fingertips, man. And yeah, I think that his like late into I think up until like And Justice for All, like there's ghosts of him surrounding that album. On an older episode, I talked about And Justice for All, and that I think that that's them that's Metallica not really knowing how to do old Metallica the same way, because there's great stuff on that album, but then there's some stuff where it's like clearly the mind of their old composition isn't there anymore. They don't know how to make a long song compelling in the same way that they did.
yeah. I
And
watched I watched that review actually pretty recently, and I thought that was a pretty interesting perspective. With Cliff not being involved.
yeah,
Yeah, it's and I love Injustice for All, and you do too. But
yeah.
I don't completely disagree with that assessment.
I think it's there's just there's so much pressure and weirdness around that album. Like what a roller coaster. It's amazing that there's anything great on an album like that after like the passing of an essential member, and then they got to get a new guy, and they have to follow up the album that already everyone was calling like this is the greatest heavy metal album of all time, and it's still called that. Like it's the pressure was really on for them, so it's amazing that that there's anything on there that feels just confident in any way. But
Sure. Hey, if Mustaine ever watches this, he's gonna be fucking pissed that we've spent this much time talking about Metallica.
well, I want to talk about the confusion of Metallica at this point, because I think like the creation of Megadeth is like the band is even called that as a way to defeat Metallica. And if there's ever a time that Dave could have defeated Metallica, it's in the 90s. After And Justice for All, they have the hit with the Black Album, but it's a lot of confusion after that, and a lot of, you know, they get some new fans, but there's old fans that just they're not feeling it. And then Megadeth come bursting down the door with Rust in Peace, like an icon, maybe the like my number one favorite thrash album of all time.
Maybe
You know?
mine too. It's up there, that or Rain and Blood. If Rust in Peace didn't have Dawn Patrol, it would be my favorite. And Dawn Patrol Dawn Patrol's a vibe, whatever. I
Yeah.
know what it is. They know what it is, but like
Yeah.
Rain and Blood doesn't have a Dawn Patrol on it.
No, it's Rain and Blood is a perfect piece of exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a perfect piece of art. I would say that I mean, talking about Megadeth, the funniest part about Megadeth is the greatest strength of Megadeth is Dave Mustaine, but it is also unfairly like their greatest weakness, because Dave can be confrontational with his members, and he has we'll say, to a polite way of saying it, a very unique voice.
It's super unique. I was talking before we went live on this that I think something very fascinating. I'm looking at the track listing of this greatest hits right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm jealous of this. That I don't have a cool enough speaking voice to ever be able to pull this up. But for a greatest hits collection, there are so many spoken verses on these, like so many, and they're all so badass, like all of them. And
Yeah.
there's even kind of some spoken choruses. Like, who can get away with that other than him?
Dude, like in my darkest hour, I was listening to it and I was the like chorus. I'm like, this is like a TLC song. How is he pulling this off right now?
Yeah,
I I love his voice. I think it's great, but I also like I love the Muppets. I make this show. That voice is not for a mainstream audience. And I think that it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you made the decision to make yourself the lead singer and you have a very peculiar voice. It works for the music, but it's got like a limited range. There's a world where Dave could have probably hired someone to sing, but it's also the longevity of Megadeth. I think he probably heard like the Danzig thing where he's like, if it's my band, then I don't ever have to like not be this band anymore. Like
yeah,
I'll be
and
the singer.
man, I feel like I could probably take a take a pretty accurate guess to like his mindset in the early days, and
Yeah.
I relate to like not being patient enough to sit around and wait for other people to help you out when you're trying to fucking kill everybody. Like
right, right,
the
right.
passion and like the chip on his shoulder that he had when he started the band. I think they tried out singers, and it was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't have the patience, and
Yeah.
they're one of the most popular metal bands of all time. So clearly, he didn't really make a mistake there.
No. I don't think it's not a mistake. I think the like trying to kill Metallica thing, like you got to compete with like Hetfield, who just inarguably has like he also has a very specific voice, but it's built for a mainstream audience,
Definitely, yeah,
it and it's like a mirror, like got bands have unique, every big band in the world has a guy with a very unique voice, like Guns N' Roses. That is a choice. Like, but it's one of those things where the voice is so like it can do a lot of things, and Dave can like you know he can make it work around his music, but it's like you can't write like a there's no Megadeth Sweet Child of Mine as much as there's an effort to be, you know
sure. Well, I think a Tulamon might be their sweet child of mine.
it is,
But dude,
but it's
I'll
I
say,
love
hold
it.
up. I think high risk, high reward is a great approach for a singer for a metal band, especially, or even like somebody like
Hmm.
Bob Dylan,
Right.
or I don't know, anybody like that, and like then you'll have people that really, really, really love it and stand by it and defend it, and then people that hate it, but you're gonna
Yeah.
get a reaction. See, I think Dave Mustaine is like, I would way rather listen to Dave Mustaine's voice than Axl Rose's voice. Period.
I I like both of them. Like I think they're both
I can't fucking stand Axl Rose.
That's one of my three voices. So too bad. Too bad for me, I guess. I love both of these guys. I love I think anyone who has like a unique voice, like I'm proud of everyone for even giving it a go. I think if someone's I hate a dude who's like, "Oh, but the vocals." I don't like I get fuck out of here. Like every I like it doesn't in the context of what they're making, it's probably fucking awesome. But I I like you brought up the track list before. These do you think that these are Megadeth's best songs compiled?
Here's what I'll say. I think it's their greatest hits. I think it's a really solid and sort of self aware balance between like the really, really good metal songs that everybody loves, and then
Mhm.
the big songs like Trust is obviously like literally written to be like a greatest hits type of
Yep,
song, and it's a
totally.
great song. I'm looking at it. I would Kill the King is whatever. I was reading the Wikipedia and Dave was like really gung ho about having that song on there.
Yeah,
It was probably a new song at the time, and we get excited about new stuff that we've written. Train of Consequences, I'm not huge on, but I think it was kind of a hit when it came out. Um,
kinda, yeah.
She Wolf, I wasn't feeling at first. I had to revisit that one, but it's cool. It's got some cool guitar harmonies and stuff. Prince of Darkness is not great, but I feel like they had to have a track from Risk on there. So I mean, I will say, even though this isn't like my favorite, they're not all my favorite Megadeth songs. I think it is a perfect song selection for a greatest hits for them.
Yeah, that, like I guess that's kinda how I feel about most greatest hits. Like, a lot of and I've it's kinda what, like, makes me grow out of them because I'm like, half of the time it's like, "Alright, we'll put the obvious ones," and then, like, it's artists guessing the songs that people want from them, and sometimes that can kinda go either way. Um, so it's bizarre. I think the most bizarre piece about this album is the track order. That is this is some of the most, like, what the fuck? This is the Megadeth greatest hits. I don't want to hear an acoustic guitar until after track 7 minimum. Track 2 is In My Darkest Hour. Are you fucking serious? Wild. I
Yeah, it's. But then again, I'm looking at it. I mean, it's 17 songs, so you can't really look at it as if you're sequencing like an original album.
right.
Um, but dude, yeah, I don't know. If you put Peace Sells second and
Yeah,
Sweating Bullets third, and In My Darkest Hour fourth, and then
totally.
move a To Le Monde to the B side, I could sort of see that flow. But it's a little strange.
Skin of My Teeth is a great fucking album opener. That should be like number 1 on the B side. Like, use your openers as like a strength. Uh
Yeah,
uh, it's
yeah,
very
I agree.
strange. Track
Another thing that I picked up on in my research, looking at the Wikipedia page here, um,
the glasses are on.
yeah, the fans voted on the website, and it says it was largely selected by the fans. So you're talking about bands sort of guessing what they think are the
This is
greatest
what
hits, but
people all right.
yeah, they sort of like actually consulted their audience a little bit, which is
Well,
cool.
that is sick. But I which is I think that's why I like most of the songs on here. Like but you look at it and you're like, Wake Up Dead is 11. That's crazy to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and if it were me, I would have probably subbed out a couple. Like I would have subbed out Prince of Darkness for maybe something else on.
Tornado.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Or
Dude,
even
where's
something like
Tornado?
So Far So Good, So What. There's only one song from that album.
I know. It's
Uh,
really it's like I get why these songs are on here. Some of these, but I think there's a few, like Kill the King, I feel like is the only I feel like if you're going to put a Kill the King on here, guess what? Sorry, nothing from Risk is showing up on here. Like
yeah,
you get one, like, try to sneak your passion project into this.
yeah,
Um but I I don't know. I think overall, like, it's a decent selection uh of tracks. For me, I'm now an Apple Music guy. I made the switch. Because of the higher quality compression, and I can put my own bullshit into I can mix it in with just like the old albums I LimeWired when I was in high school. The weird disembodied EPs that don't exist on Apple Music. But I I also have the original like Megadeth mixes from the albums. Like I have the original Rust in Peace, Euthanasia, Countdown to Extinction before Dave went in and futzed with all of them. And that is a big thing about most Megadeth stuff, is that the only Megadeth you can hear is the Megadeth that was remixed by Dave, and sometimes even retracked by Dave Mustaine a year before this greatest hits comes out. So listening to this, it was sonically a little difficult because it had been a hot minute since I'd heard the Dave remixes. What's your thoughts
Yeah,
on this?
I bit the bullet and got the original vinyl press, like a first pressing of Rust in Peace last year, because
Damn.
I couldn't really remember if I got those Megadeth CDs before or after 2004. I think it was before. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. But then when I heard the first pressing of Rust in Peace, it sounded a lot more ferocious in the vocal
Yes.
department. So I don't know. I definitely, um, speaking personally, I understand the desire to want to go back and re-record vocals, especially.
Right.
Uh, I like when I was putting out the early Spirit Adrift stuff, I was like figuring out what I was doing as I was going. And I kind of
Right.
feel like Dave Mustaine was doing the same thing vocally. And I feel like now I'm a way better singer, and I listen back to that stuff and I'm like, God, I could do that so much better. And I'm sure that Uncle Dave thought the same thing, but
Uncle Dave.
yeah, it's like it's a record, man. It's a record of a period of time creatively, and
Mhm.
period of time in the lives of the people that made it.
Tom. Tom in the chat. Tom
Oh,
Draper.
yeah, nice.
Tom had no idea about the retrack. Dude, Tom, everything you've ever heard is a lie.
But yeah, I get wanting to, especially with the perfectionism and that sort of thing, like wanting to go back and like improve upon stuff. But
Mhm.
the problem is, like, during the writing and recording process, that's when we as artists are like, you should be making the best stuff that you can, and making yourself as happy as you can. But I almost sort of feel like once it's out, that's it. Like
Yeah.
that's it. And because there's people that fall in love with it. There's people that fall in love with how an album sounds. And even if the artist thinks that they go and like fix it, it's gonna bum people out.
Yeah, I was talking to Steve Brodsky of many bands and also this show. And he's even his that's very much how he feels about it. Like Steve is very much like three drafts of mixes only. And then and then it's out and he's done. We're all not as talented as Steve to be able to do a 3 draft and like maximum, but I get it. And he famously told me once, he's like, you can say whatever you want, like about like an And Justice for All mix, but you got to give it to them for sticking to their guns. They've never, ever fucked with it. They've
Totally.
never, like, a lot of folks could have gone back and changed it, but they haven't. And I have like, I feel like I have like a new take. Like, do you know about Artie Rizik and the Integrity albums? Do you know
Yeah,
about this?
yeah. I vaguely saw some. He sort of like re-recorded a couple of classic Integrity jammers or something.
Yeah. So Dwid uh does all of his stuff with Artie now, and for a
Who
lot of
calls him Artie? You got to be the only guy that calls him Artie.
well, you know what it is. Dude, I call Saint Vitus Arthur Artie all the time. So now every Arthur is fucking Artie to me now, and I'm
I'm gonna be
sorry.
seeing Artie a week from tomorrow. I was just talking
Don't
to him today. I'm seeing Summerlands for the first time. Sumerlands. Sorry,
whatever.
it's
We're both
Sumerlands.
listen. If I don't tell them I said Artie, and I won't tell them that you called them Sumerlands.
Okay.
Um, that's the deal. But so, uh, like, it's probably mostly because Victory Records owns the rights to the first two uh Integrity albums, or the first couple, but Dwid and Arthur like retracked the first two, like the best Integrity albums, I would say, just because you can't match that type of like angry songwriting. But they released them as entirely new things. Like, it's all the same songs retracked with like new tones. It's like new players. It's still Dwid singing, like Dwid is re-singing his business, but they released it with very different album art, as almost as completely different albums. And I was like, that is the proper way to do a remix. Like, do it as an entirely new piece of art, so you're not erasing your old material. The only problem I have, like, Dave, dude, release all the remixes you want, but leave me the original one, at a certain point.
Yeah, I agree. And Ozzy did the same thing with the first two albums over some legal bullshit, and
Ugh.
and it's the same thing where they made it, the Ozzy Osbourne organization made it to where that's the only version of the first two albums you could find for a minute. And I think it was Mike Borden and Rob Trujillo at the time.
Yep.
Both legends, amazing dudes, amazing players, obviously, but they would probably agree with this. It just sucked, man. It just fucking sucked. Like, it's just not, that's not what it is, And if,
Totally.
and that was like, that's a whole other can of worms too, because the intentions behind why they did it are about as like shitty as you could possibly be. Dave just
Right.
wanted to redo it because he thought he could do better. So the Ozzy thing is like, that's a whole other can of evil.
Dude, totally. And like that, it that's the worst thing. Like, I hate that they're like, you're losing so many performances. Like, dude, the guitar solo in Holy Wars, like, I forget that it starts completely different on the greatest hits and the remixes. It the I it's like, oh, to me it's a different guitar solo,
I'm
which
gonna have
is
to I'm gonna have to compare them because I'm not even sure. I'm like, I can't think of two different solos. I'm only hearing one in my head. Maybe I'm hearing the new one.
yeah, the new one has like, he's got like a panning effect, and like like when the solo comes in with the like in Holy Wars, it's he like did a whole thing to it. And to me, I'm like, every time it happens, when I hear the newer mixed version, I'm like, this is jarring. I'm upset. I'm
Huh.
upset. I need a I also, like, I don't know. I think the way so yeah, in summation, I think the way that Integrity has gone about redoing older material for whatever reason is cool, because they left the old versions to like, you can find them, but
Totally.
it's a fun way to repress them, to make sure that like, this is going to, like, I retain all the rights because I'm re-recording. I get that. I get it as a fuck the man tool. I get it as like a, I've always heard these songs this way thing. I'm more skilled. I totally get it. But yeah, as you said it, it's a record of a time and a place, and those it can all exist. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Do all
and
of it.
I'm probably gonna follow suit with what Dwid did. I've been thinking about it for a while, and there was like a 5-year stipulation that's over now. So
Go for it, man. Listen, I love it. I love, like, everybody do a Dwid. Everybody do a Taylor Swift.
yeah,
Get your money, redo your hits, but do it. But leave them. Leave the old, as long as the old things are preserved to find. Whatever. Like, if it was easier for like Star Wars people to find the Star Wars without all the CGI, I'm sure they wouldn't. It wouldn't be a whole kerfuffle. I'm not really a Star Wars guy, but I get it. you know?
Similar issue for sure.
Are there any other albums that come to mind besides the Ozzy ones that have like a weird remix thing going on for you?
Not off the top of my head. No, that's the most egregious one because, from what I understand, don't come after me, Sharon Osbourne, please. But from
This
what
is
I
all allegedly.
allegedly, from what I
Allegedly.
understand, according to previous members of the Ozzy Osbourne band, it was to like it was a fuck you to them because they were trying to get some money. They were trying to get compensated, basically, and in an attempt to avoid giving these guys any more money, they just had Ozzy's current rhythm section like retract the shit. So that, I mean, what Dave did is one thing with the Megadeth stuff, but that's like a whole other. That's what I'm
That's
saying. Like that. That's one of the grossest things I've ever heard of. You know,
yeah. And again, allegedly.
alleged.
We
That's
can
allegedly one of the most disgusting things.
yeah. I can neither confirm nor deny
I
what
don't
Nate
know.
has
I
said,
wasn't
but
there.
that sounds awful.
I read books and shit, and Bob Daisley, he's pretty outspoken about stuff. So, but who knows? Maybe he wasn't even there for half that shit. He's probably off in the land of Crazy Train lyrics or whatever.
Yeah. Listen, love me some crazy ass Bob Daisley. Love him. The thing with these mixes though, it was really hard to listen to some of them because I think the other thing about like these are all so mids heavy now. Like there's a lot of I can see like in a room how like Dave felt that these hit better in some way, or that maybe the drums sounded better, but there's so much mid frequency that the guitars sound like there's like the harshest noise gate on them possible. Everything is a little bit weak. So like the listen for me today was a little tainted by that. I love these songs. I love so like nobody can write a riff like Uncle David.
That's not even up for debate.
No,
We're
he's the best.
putting that off to the side. That's a given.
Yeah, he has written every song in here. I'm like, oh my god, this fucking riff is the best. These are the best. Dave Mustaine has written the best heavy metal guitar riffs of all time. Like all of them. Like even if we're bringing Slayer into the mix, like I like just there's something about a Megadeth riff.
They're different.
They're
Even
different.
King said that he was in Megadeth for 2 seconds, and he was like, I don't think he wanted to compliment Mustaine too much, but
no.
he was kind of like, yeah, there's only he does that.
only David. Well, folks, I'm gonna now it's that time. We're nearing the end of the episode, so we gotta talk about this album art. All right, there it is. We've updated the stream. Let's talk about this album art. I'm gonna roast it a little bit right now, because we did that as a segment on our show. It says a lot about Dave Mustaine when an image of a nuclear destruction is the most boring Megadeth cover. That's fucking stalking. What do you think of this?
I think it's badass. I mean, it's Age of Quarrel with Vic Rattlehead in the cloud.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that Vic is in it.
Yeah, I didn't either until earlier today.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's badass. It's exactly whatever. It's a fucking nuclear bomb going off with Vic Rattlehead. It's sick as fuck.
Yeah, you know what? It is a perfect summation of just like what you get from Megadeth bullshit. Like they could have done a big art whatever, but it's also like it's the if you're summarizing that and also thrash metal, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, but if you're gonna roast it, you could say it's Peace Sells with all the cool stuff taken out.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, this is what the bathroom at the Alamo Draft House looks like after I order the truffle fries during Jurassic Park 7 or whatever. Yeah,
Oh, are we taking turns?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Orange broccoli. I
Yeah,
didn't.
I
I
was
didn't
gonna.
prepare anything. I'm not going to be that funny because I didn't prepare.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. This is. I was gonna say this looks like your asshole after you eat famous buffalo cauliflower. You know. um. Yeah, this looks like the Giving Tree's evil Soviet twin. I don't know, but that's what can you say? It's a great. It's like it's just the mushroom cloud. You know.
Yeah, it's got a couple rings above it. I'm gonna bring up Age of Coral and see how different they are.
Yeah, my last pre-written bit was this looks like the scene in Terminator 2 where Sarah Connor watches me have diarrhea at the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, that's the best one. You saved the best for last, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Age of Coral is kind of like it looks like it was manipulated and stretched a little bit,
Yes.
and it's just not really like this is like yeah, major label money
Yeah.
graphics department version of Age of Coral.
Do you think? I mean, the real question is: do you think that Dave knew who the Cro-Mags were
I
at
don't know.
this time?
That's a good question. Age
I
of
know that.
Coral came out in '88, right?
Yeah, they're already like kind of at like they're pretty big at that point. I know that Danzig knows who they are, but Danzig has not taken off. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I know Pantera was buddies with Harley. I feel like everybody knows Harley, and
everybody knows
Harley
Harley.
knows everybody, and
Yeah.
so maybe, yeah. But I don't. It's a mushroom cloud. It wasn't original when Chromax did it.
No. Yeah. It's yeah. I think it's. I feel like Back to the Start. That's a very good like whatever. It's just it's nuke shit. Like they are they're stripping all the shit away from it. But I get that this is like a check us out, normies. If you want a little, if you can handle a nuclear, you might be able. Like, there's acoustic guitars, track 2. Don't worry, it's not all. It's not all that much. It's not all insane riffs and like Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem vocals. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, it's a better album cover than the Capital Punishment, the Capital Years one. It's like a roulette table.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that shit is crazy.
it's a better album cover than the new album cover too.
The new ones where they are just using Sega CD ass graphics. What is going on? Do you like the new song, by the way?
I love it. Yeah,
I love it. It's great.
yeah. But why not have like a who did their old stuff? Ed Repka, is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean he's still around, right? He's doing like I think he's still doing album covers.
totally. Get anyone to do your album cover. I don't know. I don't know who this is for.
I'll fucking
Even
paint something cooler than that, dude.
dude, even Iron Maiden ain't doing weird CGI versions of their guy no
A
more.
a little bit.
Not
But
on the album covers.
Yeah.
They do it live all day. Live, I love a janky CGI like moving thing. Like, give me that screensaver. Give me that at a show because they also got a puppet. You know what I'm saying? They also have a guy dress. I wish that there was like an era of Megadeth where they just had a dude dressing up like Vic and like karate chopping everybody or whatever.
They got a guy. They have a dude that comes out and fucking does stuff.
Really?
He doesn't karate chop people. I'm trying to think of what he
Well,
does.
that's what I'm saying. I want like I want like a Six Flags Batman Forever show.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He shines
Goddamn.
lights in the crowd and hypes
Still
people.
fun.
He's like Vic Rattlehead hype guy.
Yeah, that rocks. Fuck yeah. I love a dude. I want like that's I think every band should have a symbol so that you can eventually have a dude come on stage and do like sign spinning or whatever. I think that you need to have a Spirit Adrift guy.
Yeah, I'm brainstorming on that right now. As you said it, I was
Yeah.
brainstorming.
Before we get out of here, can you reveal? Do you have? You don't have to reveal it right now, but do you have do you want to talk about the songs that you wish you could retrack, or does you want to keep that
Yeah,
a secret?
dude. Yeah, pretty much. I'm okay with the first EP for the most part. There's a part on the second song on our first EP where I was going for like a Killing Joke thing, and
Right,
we didn't have enough time. I that specifically, I know I can do a lot better now.
right,
First album, I'd probably, as much as I hear it and I would like be tempted to redo the whole thing. It's like I was intentionally trying for something so different than what I'm doing now
right.
that it almost wouldn't even make sense to redo it. Um,
Yeah,
I was not like really fully satisfied with my vocals until Enlightened. Honestly, like Divided is I'm okay with, but
right.
I think Enlighten and Forge are like the first two releases where I was like, okay, this doesn't bother me. But I was thinking about it in regards to Mustaine, and it's like I am not my audience. I don't
Right.
listen to my own shit. Anybody that sits around listening to their own music is needs to probably just be thrown in prison because there's something like
You're a
really
sociopath.
wrong. There's it's like just staring in a mirror all day.
Dude,
Um,
how do people do that? After all the time, after how many times you've had to hear these songs to put them together in the mixing process, like how do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't listen to my own stuff. Even the stuff that I think, yeah, that's exactly what I set out to do. Like I feel good about that. Feel like I did a good job. I don't listen to my own stuff ever. So it's like, why would I re-record anything? I'm
Right.
not the audience.
Well, you're missing out because you got some good riffs.
Yeah,
You got some good songs, man. um, but yeah, final thoughts on Megadeth greatest hits.
yeah, it's good. A lot of my favorite bands, I prefer the deeper cuts. Like I would say Black Sabbath,
Yeah.
bands like that. I prefer deeper cuts. Maybe even Metallica. I prefer the deeper cuts. But then there's bands I love, like Rush, for example. I
Hmm.
prefer their hits. I think the hits are the best songs. I kind of feel the same way about Megadeth, man. Like the songs that they play live the most and the songs that
Yeah.
get the most airplay and they're kind of the most famous ones, I think are the best songs. Like I said, a few of the tracks on this greatest hits I would switch out, like you said,
Tornado. We got to get
Tornado,
Tornado.
even like Take No Prisoners or
Yes.
Set the World Afire, something like that. But no, it's good. I think I always try to, if I'm going to critique something, I try to figure out what the person that made it is trying to do,
Right.
right? And I think they did a great job of what they were trying to do with this.
Totally. I think like I think for me, I I don't I think as like an impatient like teenager who's just like full of energy drinks and like ADD, I think that I think now that we've talked about like the track order, I think the track order kind of like knocked me off of Megadeth for a while. Like I found myself like just when I was younger, I was skipping through it, just trying to get the heavy hitting songs. And it took me a while. It took me to like college to really get into the discography of Megadeth and really like love them. But I was like, these are sick, but I so maybe that I guess it depends on like who anytime you're trying to present what your art project is to like a mass audience, it can always it's gonna be for some people and it's not gonna be for others. You
Sure.
can't win them all, and in this case they couldn't totally like I thought Holy Wars was sick. I loved Angry Again. um I heard Symphony of Destruction on the radio all the time, but otherwise, like, ADD energy drink rattled Jordan was it took a little bit. It took a little bit for me to get into him. But fucking love Megadeth, man. We love them.
Yes.
But folks, thank you all for joining us. Next week we're going to be this week was supposed to be Suicidal Tendencies, but I had a very unique guest that I wanted to be a part of it, and They couldn't make it. So Nate's here, and we're talking about Megadeth because that was the other. Oh my God! Look how big Nate's dog is. Talk about your dog, Nate.
It's Hank, man.
Hank.
He was featured in the Steely Dan video, and he's gained about 50 pounds or something.
Yep. It's all in that long snoot.
Yeah.
That big old snoot. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. We will see